Okay. Yo, what's up guys, it's TBAG and today we have a very special... Okay, are you happy now? You asked for it, I gave it to you, I hope you enjoyed. Okay, so for today's video, we have something very special. It's another details video. But sadly, it's gonna be the very last details video for Battlefield 1 ever. Obviously, when Battlefield 5 comes out, I will be making lots of details video as they are gonna be simply amazing. But for now, this is the last one for Battlefield 1. In this video, we don't really have new details, but a lot of you guys asked me to do like a best of video where I list my favorite details in Battlefield 1. So I went through the entire details video playlist, noted every cool detail that I wanted to mention in this video and went to work. I think this video is a great way to close the details video series that really grew my YouTube channel, so sit back, relax, enjoy the video. Also, quick side note, because I've taken footage from our previous details videos, you can see these numbers on the top right of the screen, but ignore that please. So here is a list of the best details in Battlefield 1. Firstly, I wanted to start things off with how I started this series in the first place, with the snow. With the release of the Russian DLC in the name of the Tsar, we got snow maps for the first time in Battlefield 1, and with that came some awesome new details to light. Firstly, as expected for a game like Battlefield 1, as you walk over the snowy terrain, you can actually leave footprints in the snow. That's pretty cool, but that's not all. Tanks and other vehicles also leave their tire tracks in the snow, and even cooler, as these vehicles drive, more and more snow is gonna build up on the wheels, as you can see here. Pretty damn cool in my opinion. Now let's stick with the Russian DLC theme for a minute. Did you know that the bell on the Brusilov Keep map makes this unique sound when it's getting shot? And as you can see, it has its own physics. The new Russian DLC tank also has some cool little details. For example, as you fire a round, the empty shell will be thrown out manually out of the top hatch of the vehicle. With the Russian DLC we also got some new weapons, like the double-barreled shotgun and the Parabellum. These guns have some very intricate details as well. For example, as you fire with the Parabellum, you can see the belt being spit out, if you will, from the ejector port of the gun. But the cool thing here is that the belt that hangs freely reacts realistically to how the soldier is moving. For example, if you look up, the gravity pulls the belt down so it goes towards you, and vice versa when you are looking down. The reload animation is also very impressive. Depending on how far the belt has been fed into the Parabellum, the more times you need to spin to get it back out again and load in a new mag, as you can see right here. But like I said, the double-barreled shotgun also has a very cool detail. If you shoot the double-barreled shotgun and breach reload the gun, you will see smoke coming out of the barrels. But what's even cooler is that the smoke also reacts to how your soldier is moving, as you can see right here. Speaking of smoke, when you have an explosion near a smoke cloud, you can see the smoke cloud reacts realistically to the shockwaves from the explosion, as it's evident in this clip right here. But not only the smoke, the flags also reacts realistically to different types of shockwaves that are nearby. But coming back to the gun details for a little bit, there are more weapons with awesome looking little details. Such as the Perino. This one is really cool. As you know, the Perino takes in strips of 20 rounds. These strips lay in the box magazine without any anchor point, if you know what I mean. Because of that, every time you have shot a 20 round strip magazine, you can see the whole stack moving down. First the left side, and then the right side. Really cool. Matter of fact, you can actually see the current strip mag that's being fed to the gun moving from left to right as it's being fired. Furthermore, you have some really cool reload animations for the Nagant revolver. As you can see, we have a couple of different animations for ejecting a round out of the cylinder, but also for example the Obras pistol and the Mosin Nagant. For both guns, if you reload, let's say 3 new bullets, your soldier will actually hold those bullets in his hand while reloading, instead of just spawning new rounds into your hand like for example with the Gewehr 98. But the Mosin Nagant has another cool little detail. If you load in the K bullet, you will see the soldier cycling the current round out of the rifle, but the cool thing is that he doesn't let it go to waste. In fact, if you look closely, you can see that the soldier is catching that round with his hand before loading in the K bullet. Awesome stuff. Now for some different types of details. As many of you know, because I covered it extensively in previous videos, in Battlefield 1 you can see different types of animals. For example, on Fort Davao you can see these bugs crawling out of these vents. But on the map Nibble Nights you can see these rats running around. Pretty cool, but it gets better. In the last campaign mission you can see these beetles. Yes, it's really weird. On the spot where the armor train is gonna fire an artillery shell on, beetles appear out of nowhere to let you know that this is the place where the shell is gonna land. Pretty weird in my opinion. The last interesting creatures in Battlefield 1 are also in the last war story, on the Sinai Desert map. If you look closely, you can sometimes see the scorpions crawling around. Staying on the campaign version of Sinai or Sinai Desert, however you want to call it, if you look up into the night sky, you can actually see some shooting stars. No, not the song, actual shooting stars. Pretty cool. You can also see some of these cute little sand tornadoes. Oh, sorry, I mean dust devils. I wonder why they aren't there in the multiplayer version of the map. Going back to a previous war story, the Friends in High Places story, in the No Man's Land mission you can find some pretty cool details as well. For example, in the first checkpoint where you can find a silenced C96 pistol, you can also find this pack of cigarettes. And this is made to look like how it actually looked back in that time period, as you can see by this picture. But the coolest detail in this mission lie within the conversations that the German soldiers have with each other. They talk about various things such as the Harlem Hellfighters, the Spanish flu and stuff like that. If you watched this already in a details video I did a while ago, you can skip this part. If you haven't, then check this out. This is pretty cool.
Die Männer wieder hier. Sollen in Quarantäne sein.
Das ist doch nur eine Grippe.
Ich habe das im Fronturlaub in der spanischen Zeitung gelesen. An dieser Grippe sterben Tausende von Menschen. Aber nicht nur in Spanien, überall auf der Welt.
Wenn es so ernst wäre, würden sie es uns sagen.
Machst du Witze? Denkst du, die Männer würden weiterkämpfen, wenn sie wüssten, dass zu Hause ihre Familien an einer Krankheit sterben, die schon hunderttausende Opfer gefordert hat?
Komm schon, Mann. Du und deine Verschwörungstheorien. Unsere Regierung würde uns nicht belügen. Es wüssten viel zu viele Leute Bescheid. Die Information würde garantiert durchsickern. Abgesehen davon, Hunderttausende von Toten. Das glaube ich nicht.
Da bist du nah. Denk an meine Worte. Diese Grippe ist gefährlich. Sie wird viele Opfer fordern.
Du Idiot! Wie buchstabiert man katastrophal?
Du weißt, wenn es hier jemand liest, schiebst du bis Kriegsende Doppelschichten.
Nein, so ist das nicht. Ich schreibe eine Geschichte. Ein Abenteuer.
Eine Geschichte? Worüber?
Über einen Hund, der nach dem Tod seines Herrchens durch Europa
Du bist der deprimierendste Mensch, den ich kenne!
Klingt langweilig.
Ich kann ein ständiges Gejammer nicht mehr hören!
Seit wann bist du denn unter die Buchkritiker gegangen?
Man muss kein Genie sein, um ein Buch zu schreiben.
Was denn?
Sind die in unserem Sektor?
Nein.
Gott sei Dank.
Das Oberkommando spielt das Thema runter. Aber ich habe einen Freund, der im Hauptquartier arbeitet.
Und
der
denkst du
sagt, es
Jetzt halt doch mal die Klappe! Ernsthaft? Wir haben noch nie einen Graben oder einen Grab abgenommen. Noch nie. Angeblich lassen die sich nicht mal gefangen nehmen. Die kämpfen bis in den Tod.
Ich hab's mit eigenen Augen gesehen. Ich war mit einem Mann. Ich hätte das mal gesehen.
Jeder Sache besser? Mein Gott. Beschwer dich bei den Briten, dass sie unseren Nachschub abgeschnitten haben. Aber das wird schon wieder.
Das will ich hoffen. Jesus hat einen Monat ohne was zu essen geschafft. Aber der musste ja auch nur rumsitzen. Außerdem hat niemand auf ihn geschossen.
Du bist ein hoffnungsloser Fall.
Was denn? Wenn das so weitergeht, sterben wir.
Es waren 2 Tage.
Die Maschine, die an der Front gestürzt ist.
Ich habe geschlafen. Außerdem ist der Baron nicht mal in unserer Nähe. Hier passiert nichts Aufregendes.
Ich hätte nicht gedacht, dass ich dich wiedersehe!
Sind wir zufällig da davon? Hier hinten ist es viel sicherer. Hier kriegen wir schlimmstenfalls Frostbein. Da, Dünnschiss. Gott, was ist los mit den Köchen? Wenn die Engländer uns nicht umbringen, tun sie's.
Ich bin gespannt, wann Feldwebel Arschloch das Geschenk findet, das ich ihm hinterlassen habe.
Ja, komm doch mal, Johann. Bringst du uns doch beide um?
Ziegler ist so ein Arsch. Er verdient es nicht anders.
Er ist ein Arsch, ja. Und extrem gefährlich. Der schickt uns eiskalt auf die nächste Selbstmordmission. Und dieses Mal haben wir nicht so viel Glück.
Oh, sein dummes Gesicht bei unserer Rückkehr war unbezahlbar.
Ich bin sicher, er hat schon Pläne, wie er uns töten
Ich sag dir was!
Das ist in
Nur
der
weil ich
Tat
das
so.
Beste für unser Land will,
Ich habe
bestraft
seine
mich der Hauptmann
Schreibtischschublade
ständig!
aufgebrochen.
Was ist daran
mein
falsch, hä?
Notizbuch gefunden.
Nicht so laut, du Idiot!
Scheiße. Was schreibt er denn?
Der Mann ist total verrückt. Fantasiert über allerlei Dinge.
Bu yeni Alman 1903'ler o eski Mazerlerden yeğidir.
Hala Martin kullanırlar bilir misin? 18. asırdan yadigar o eski tek atımlık tüfek. Lan oğlum Almanlar hangi akla hizmet o eski tüfeği kullanır ki? Yok Almanlar değil. Tali birlikler ve Arap gönüllüler. Bu harpte muvaffak olamadığımıza şaşmamak lazım.
Was hast du gesagt?
During the final segment of the war story, when you board a German airship, again some very cool details can be found. The most awesome detail by far though is this one. As you can see, this German operator tries to put out a fire with his fire extinguisher. But before he gets blown away by an explosion, he turns around, and in that split second you can see that the fire extinguisher he holds is a replica of the so-called Minimax fire extinguisher that was very famous for its effectiveness during the World War I time period. Pretty damn cool. I believe this is the only part in the entire game, single player or multiplayer, where you can see this prop being used. Now that is an awesome detail. Speaking of the airship, it has more cool details. If you manage to pilot an airship behemoth in the multiplayer, on the interior you can see some pretty cool things. For one, you can see the so-called JW&Co Liverpool telegraph. This was used to navigate and communicate the entire airship back then. Pretty cool. Same thing can be found on the interior of the L-class destroyer, as you can see. Not only that, behind the driver's seat, if you look back, you can see this cool working compass in the middle of the cabin. As you can see by the minimap on the bottom left, it shows the actual direction in real time, which is pretty cool. By the way, did you guys know this next hidden detail? If you manage to steal the enemy's L-class destroyer, their nation's flag turns into a pirate flag. Of course you knew this because you watched my details video, but still, for the people who didn't know, pretty damn awesome. Now, since we are talking about things related to the Turning Tides DLC, why not mention the Infiltrator Elite class? Did you know that when you are the Infiltrator, when you are standing still for long enough, you can hear a Morse code message? Did you know that the Morse code translates to enemy soldier nearby, prepare artillery barrage? Did you know that when you call in an artillery barrage with the signal flare, you can actually see dreadnoughts in the distance firing the shells? Cool, right? Did you know that inside these types of boxes, all of them, you can find this cute little heart with these initials in it, probably personal to one of the developers. Another very hard to see detail is the one on Naval Knights. If you look out into the distance, you can see British soldiers advancing. Looks pretty cool. They also die sometimes, which is even cooler, and they also shrink into singularity when dead. An even harder to see detail is regarding the Colibri, the smallest gun in the game. Did you know that if you lay prone and reload the Colibri, every now and again you can see this cool little animation? This is only visible from a third-person perspective, and it looks like the soldier lost the Colibri for a second on the ground and eventually finds it again. Get it? Because it's so small. Another cool detail that is easily overlooked is the condensation effect on the soldier's breath on cold maps. As you can see here, this is on the map Priest to Her, and you can see it in first person as well as in third person, and even in the squad menu. Now let's listen to some very cool audio details. For example, did you know that depending on the type of ground you are standing on, you can hear different sound effects for your bullet casings when dropping down after they are ejected from your gun? Check this out. Another cool audio detail that most people didn't know about until I made this video is regarding this pile of fired shells. Did you know that when it is raining, you can hear a unique sound effect when standing close to this pile of shells? You can hear the faint sound of rain falling on the brass, and it sounds absolutely amazing. Now that we are talking about the rain, did you know that the river on the Soissons map actually flows if it's raining, and as you can see, it is also filled up with water. At the beginning of this current you can see this water wheel. This also spins faster if it's raining. This is obviously because the current is much stronger. And now for the last couple of details I want to highlight before ending this video. You know those scout decoys, right? Pretty useless gadget, but they have a very cool detail. Depending on what faction you are playing as, the decoy changes. Here, let me show you. If you're playing as the French troops, your decoy looks like this. But if you are a Russian scout player, your decoy wears the same hoodie thing as the Russian scout player model. Obviously this is to make it look like the actual soldier, and this goes on for other factions as well. Pretty damn cool. And now for one of the first ever details I've covered in this series. Did you know that the American flag in Battlefield 1 displays 48 stars instead of 50 stars? This is because during World War I the USA didn't have 50 states yet. The states of Hawaii and Alaska didn't exist until 1959. And guys, that was it for the very last Battlefield 1 details video. Highlights of some of my favorite details I've covered in the series. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to press F to pay respects to this awesome series that helped my channel grow, that would be very much appreciated. If you are new here and you haven't watched any of my details videos yet, be sure to watch them. I compiled all of them into a playlist named Digging Deeper into Battlefield 1. Drop a like to support the channel, subscribe if you're new here with notifications on, as the next video will finally be the Battlefield Bad Company 1 video. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you guys next time.